Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I'm very honored and pleased to welcome His Excellency President Aquino, President of the Philippines, and his delegation to Putrajaya. This is President Aquino's first visit to Malaysia since taking over office as President. President Aquino and I had a very good meeting this morning. We discussed a range of issues and touched on multiple areas of common concern. We first of all took stock of the current state of relations between our two countries, and we discussed in a very open and frank manner how we can enhance, deepen, and boost our bilateral relations and cooperation. As you know, Malaysia and Philippines are two close neighbors and partners with a shared history and common destiny to shape a promising future for our peoples. And we continue to work closely together with our shared goals to ensure regional peace, stability, and prosperity. And we are always guided by the spirit of ASEAN community. I believe in terms of trade and investment, particularly in areas of trade, there's a lot more we can do between our two countries. We both agree on this, that whilst our bilateral trade is at about $4.5 billion, but given the size of the Philippines, we believe that the potential is far greater than that, and both governments agree that we should encourage the value and volume of bilateral trade to increase, and President Aquino has brought a team of businessmen with him, and this afternoon there will be a discussion with Philippines business people and Malaysian business community, and I'm confident that as a result of this discussion and this visit, that the bilateral trade will be on an upward trend between our two countries. We also discussed specific areas. President Aquino would like us to help in terms of Islamic banking, Islamic finance, possibility of Malaysian participating in Islamic banking in the Philippines. And I offered President Aquino that we could train Filipinos in the field of Islamic banking and Islamic finance here in Malaysia. Also the potential in terms of halal products to be promoted between our two countries. I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate President Aquino for the Bangsamoro Agreement. The framework agreement has been signed, and the 4 annexes which will constitute part of the comprehensive agreement is due to be signed by the end of March, and President Aquino has very kindly invited me to attend the ceremony, and I look forward to attending that very historic ceremony, which will usher in a new era for the people of Philippines, particularly southern Philippines. The security and peace of that area will not only benefit the people of Philippines, but also Malaysia and the region as a whole. Malaysia is delighted that we could play our part as a facilitator to support the peace process, and to add strength to that process, we will offer capacity building for the Bangsamoro people, and because being part of the future government in southern Philippines will require them to have new skills to be part of the government in the future of that area. We certainly did discuss about security matters. Enhancing security is very important for both countries, and one of the things we've agreed, in addition to close cooperation between our security forces, military and police, We did stress the importance of timely exchange of intelligence, as well as ensuring a high degree of deterrent. In this regard, we are looking at the possibility of establishing a hotline between our security forces in the event of any incident, security incident happening. We need to ensure immediate interdiction on our Malaysian side as well as on the Philippine side. So that is a very important facet. Once you have peace and security, then trade, investment will flow in southern Philippines as well as in Sabah. We also signed 2 documents, Agreement on Cultural Arts and Heritage Cooperation and MOU on Cooperation in the Field of Education. We also took the opportunity to discuss some regional issues, and we have very much in common in terms of the importance of ASEAN, the cohesiveness of ASEAN, the solidarity of ASEAN in dealing with regional issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Datuk Sri, for your statement. I now have the honor to invite His Excellency to deliver his statement. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Prime Minister Najib, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I wish to convey my gratitude to His Majesty Dayang di Pertuan Agong, to His Excellency the Prime Minister, and to the people of Malaysia for the warm welcome they have extended not only to me, but my delegation on our first visit to your country, but also, and more importantly, to the thousands of Filipinos who live and work here. For half a century since the formal establishment of our diplomatic relations, the Philippines and Malaysia have worked hand in hand in advancing the interests of our peoples. The cooperation between our 2 nations is founded upon our long intertwined history as Malay peoples. This is the context that constantly informs our actions. The development of our peoples rests on our mutual progress, peace, and prosperity. In light of this, I wish to personally thank His Excellency, the Prime Minister, for the significant support the government and the people of Malaysia have demonstrated in facilitating and hosting the peace talks between my government and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. The successful conclusion of the Mindanao peace process finds root in the determination of both our peoples to strengthen the foundations of peace and justice. This makes possible the empowerment of all the peoples of Mindanao. I look forward to welcoming His Excellency in Manila for the signing of the comprehensive agreement on the Bangsamoro. On a more personal note, Your Excellency, the solidarity the people of Malaysia showed my countrymen in the wake of Typhoon Haiyan was a true display of our common commitment to look after the well-being of each other and to ensure our continued growth as brother nations. Your Excellency, I speak on behalf of our people when I say the Filipino people never forget acts of kindness. On behalf of my countrymen, please accept my sincerest gratitude. Terima kasih, or maraming salamat. This morning, the Prime Minister and I discussed a series of subjects that will pave the way for greater cooperation in the mutual benefit of our peoples. On improving trade and investments, we noted the prospects of progress that our 2 nations share, one proof of which is the growing presence of Malaysian companies in our home and that of ours here in Malaysia. As I told the Prime Minister, I had the pleasure of inaugurating the very first Petron station fully built in Malaysia. It serves as a concrete symbol of what our nations can do as we continue to keep the dynamo of development engaged at full throttle for our peoples and our nations and our region. I also discussed with the Prime Minister the economic gains of the Philippines and highlighted how Malaysia can play a more significant role as the Philippines treads a straight path to meaningful progress. We believe that just as Malaysia has been a reliable partner in pursuing our shared vision of a peaceful Mindanao, Malaysia can also further contribute to the development of our land of promise by encouraging their businesses to invest in Mindanao. We also invited Malaysia to work with us in developing the Philippine palm oil industry, among other sub-industries in agriculture. This is an area that aims to open more doors of opportunity for growth for both our peoples. The Prime Minister and I welcome the convening of the 8th Philippines-Malaysia Joint Commission meeting, which will take place this year. This meeting serves as an important opportunity for us to deepen our engagement by discussing our bilateral relations and examining the progress of the initiatives we forged today. We also witnessed the signing of agreements on cultural cooperation and education cooperation, both of which are fundamental in bringing our nations even closer to one another. In terms of ensuring the safety of our peoples, the Prime Minister and I reviewed the many aspects of our defense relations, particularly the education and training exchanges between our armed forces and defense officials, as well as our continued joint training activities and intelligence exchanges. We agree with the Prime Minister that deterrence is the best medicine to address this problem. As brothers in ASEAN, our two nations believe that the potential of our nations and of our community to prosper can only be fully realized in an international context where the rule of law is upheld. The Prime Minister and I agreed on the peaceful settlement of disputes in the West Philippine Sea and the South China Sea in accordance with the rule of law and the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. We believe that adherence to the rule of law, positive engagement, and sincere dialogue are fundamental if we are to build a truly prosperous and peaceful Southeast Asia where no one is left behind. Your Excellency, our meeting today reflects the respect and friendship that peoples with a shared and inextricable history accord one another. Truly, our ancestors would have been proud to see their sons and daughters banding together to realize a common vision. Citizens empowered to live dignified and productive lives so that they themselves may help open the doors of even greater opportunity for their fellow Filipinos and Malaysians. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your statement. And now we would like to invite Dr. Sri and His Excellency in front of the rostrum for a photo opportunity.